Welcome to Game Nations. Remember when games were basically jump, shoot, die, repeat, and your biggest worry was whether your cartridge would survive another week? Well, welcome to modern retro games, the love child of nostalgia, and hey, let's make this actually playable in 2025. These 14 games prove that pixel art, chiptune music, and twitchy controls can still make your thumbs hurt, in the best way. These games are like your favorite childhood snacks, if someone had sprinkled them with just enough spice to make you sweat, laugh, and occasionally throw your controller across the room. You'll see heroes dodging lasers, blasting baddies, and probably yelling at the screen like it personally insulted them. Toxic Crusaders is a 1992 side-scrolling action/platformer released on the NES, based on the kid-friendly animated series adaptation of The Toxic Avenger. Players control Toxie, the mutated superhero janitor, as he battles waves of pollution-spewing mutants and environmental villains across Tromaville. Each level is themed around a different polluted area, from toxic waste dumps to factories, with hazards like slime pits, radioactive sludge, and mutant minions. Toxie wields gross-out, improvised weapons, mops, slime blasts, and other quirky tools, while rescuing civilians and clearing pollution. Boss fights punctuate each level, featuring grotesque mutants and Dr. Killamoff's bizarre creations, each with unique attack patterns. Though the game is short and relatively simple compared to modern standards, it captures the campy, eco-conscious, and absurd spirit of its source material, making it appealing to fans of the series and retro beat-em-ups. Scott Pilgrim X follows Scott Pilgrim and his friends as they battle the League of Evil X's to win the heart of Ramona Flowers, blending humor, romance, and pop culture references with retro action gameplay. Players can choose from 6 playable characters, each with unique stats and movesets, including Scott, Ramona, Kim, Steven, Knives, and Wallace. The game includes local and online co-op multiplayer, allowing up to 4 players to team up for chaotic, fast-paced brawling. Boss fights are challenging and emphasize strategy and timing, while environmental hazards and interactive objects add variety to combat. The game features vibrant pixel art visuals, dynamic retro-inspired animations, and a chiptune soundtrack by Anamanaguchi, combining nostalgia with modern gameplay polish. Levels are set across interactive, hazard-filled areas of Toronto, where players battle waves of quirky enemies, environmental hazards, and mini-bosses while collecting gold and leveling up their characters. Marvel Cosmic Invasion. The game is set in the Marvel Universe and features a roster of 15 playable heroes, each with unique abilities and combat styles. Players select 2 heroes per level and can swap between them in real time using the Cosmic Swap tag team system, creating dynamic combos and chainable special attacks. The gameplay is inspired by 1990s arcade beat-em-ups, featuring side-scrolling combat against waves of enemies across iconic Marvel locations such as New York City and the Negative Zone, while facing formidable foes like the Annihilation Wave, led by Annihilus. The game supports local and online co-op multiplayer for up to 4 players, allowing for collaborative strategies, while the drop-in/drop-out system ensures accessibility for casual and hardcore players alike. Combat emphasizes fast-paced action, environmental interactions, and the creative use of hero abilities to overcome groups of enemies and challenging bosses.
Matt. I can't say I ever met him. It's more like he became.
Oh, like last week, when the roofs across the street got blown away?
The Eternal Life of Goldman is an upcoming 2D hand-drawn action-adventure platformer, set in a sprawling archipelago filled with myths, legends, and eccentric characters. Players assume the role of Goldman, a determined protagonist on a quest to confront a mysterious and elusive deity, navigating diverse environments filled with secrets, puzzles, and formidable creatures. The game emphasizes exploration and discovery, with carefully crafted, hand-drawn, frame-by-frame animation that evokes the nostalgia of classic 16-bit platformers while introducing modern mechanics. Combat revolves around a versatile, upgradable cane that allows Goldman to execute attacks, unlock special abilities, and adapt to different enemies, from small minions to colossal mythical beasts. Progression encourages careful exploration of hidden corners, solving environmental puzzles, and uncovering narrative lore without unnecessary backtracking.
He was cruel because of nonsense. He filled my head with...
Terminator 2D No Fate is a retro-style 2D side-scrolling action game. The game offers players the opportunity to control iconic characters such as Sarah Connor, John Connor, and the T-800, engaging in various missions that expand upon the narrative of the original Terminator 2 Judgment Day film. The gameplay is heavily inspired by classic arcade titles like Contra, Final Fight, and Rolling Thunder, featuring intense shoot, em-up action, platforming sequences, and boss battles. Players will navigate through levels set in both present-day and future war scenarios, encountering enemies such as the T-1000 and other Skynet forces. The game boasts pixel-perfect graphics that pay homage to the 16-bit era, capturing the essence of early 1990s arcade games. Terminator 2D No Fate blends iconic scenes from the film with original content, allowing players to experience untold stories within the Terminator universe.
Over to their main office on 13 Farrell Street.
I should go there ASAP. Desperately need a job.
Oh, come on. Mr. Palmer left the car in reverse.
Deliver at All Costs is a chaotic, physics-driven action-adventure game developed by Far Out Games. Players take control of Winston Green, a down-on-his-luck courier with a fiery temper, navigating three fictional 1959 cities: Street, Monique, Shellington Falls, and New Reed, while completing unconventional deliveries. The game features an isometric third-person perspective, allowing players to control Winston both on foot and in a variety of customizable vehicles, including his primary We Deliver pickup truck, equipped with modifications like winches, airbags, and ship air horns. Physics-based gameplay allows for creative destruction, as players drive through buildings, knock over obstacles, and interact dynamically with the environment to complete missions. The final vindictive showdown forces Winston to tackle a climactic delivery through an overwhelmingly hostile and destructible environment, testing every skill, upgrade, and tactic acquired throughout the game.
There's something off about you, kid. I just know it.
I have never encountered a case as unprecedented as this one.
You think you can push me around?
30 years later, and these old-fashioned furballs are getting a new video game? These darn pizza cats are always stealing my spotlight. I haven't felt this angry since our cartoon show stopped airing on...
Samurai Pizza Cat's Blast from the Past is a hand-drawn 2D action RPG set in Little Tokyo. The story charges you with stopping Seymour, the Big Cheese, from seizing the city once and for all in a side-scrolling adventure. You tag team instantly between Speedy Cervich, Guido Anchovy, and Polly Esther, respectively tuned for close combat swordplay, aerial platforming, and ranged kunai barrages, so every encounter becomes a stylish three-way dance. Progression pivots on collectible cards that tweak stats and abilities like speed, strength, and double jump, letting you craft builds that suit bosses and routes. Beyond the side-scrolling stages, an overworld hub lets you walk city streets, enter shops, and kit out the team between missions. As difficulty escalates, you weave rapid character swaps with card synergies to unleash screen-filling, anime-style finishers across Little Tokyo's districts. Neon Inferno is a 2D run-and-gun and gallery shooter hybrid set in a dystopian New York City in the year 2055. The campaign builds toward a dramatic final confrontation. At its climax, you must leverage all your acquired skills, upgraded gear, bullet time mastery, and cooperative synergy to dismantle your ultimate nemesis and assert your crime family's dominance over New York. Through a thrilling crescendo of layered combat and environmental challenges, Victory delivers brutal justice and cements your path from assassin to legend in this neon-bathed Inferno. He-Game's signature shoot-close, aim-far mechanic allows you to engage enemies in both the foreground and background simultaneously, blending inspirations from Contra and Wild Guns into seamless pixel art mayhem. Rendered in rich 32-bit pixel art and backed by a moody, evocative soundtrack, the game captures the cyberpunk aesthetic with both nostalgic flair and modern visual polish.
He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, Dragon Pearl of Destruction. Intense beat-em-up action that puts the power in your hands. Grab a friend and fight for Eternia with 4 players.
He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, Dragon Pearl of Destruction is a pixel art, side-scrolling beat-em-up. The journey builds toward a perilous final confrontation, where He-Man and his allies must stop Skeletor's ritual before it completes. In the climactic showdown, players harness their characters' full arsenal of combos, magical powers, and Battle Cat's support to dismantle Skeletor's defenses. As the ritual reaches critical mass, timing, positioning, and co-op coordination become absolutely vital, demanding mastery of mechanics across all heroes. Upon defeating Skeletor and potentially evil Lyn, the heroes liberate Eternia from the brink, delivering a long-awaited reckoning and restoring peace. That final victory stands as the ultimate vindication, affirming the legacy of He-Man and the Masters who protected Eternia for the power of Grayskull. Mouse, PI for Hire is an upcoming noir-fueled first-person shooter, styled with hand-drawn, monochromatic rubber hose animation reminiscent of 1930s cartoons. The game layers classic visual charm over gritty FPS action. Players step into the shoes of Jack Pepper, a war veteran turned private investigator, navigating the seedy, corruption-ridden streets of Mouseburg. What starts as a cliched damsel in distress case spirals into a tangled web of murder, political deception, and morally twisted adversaries lurking in every mouse hole. The arsenal is delightfully absurd, ranging from Tommy guns and mini bazookas to comical yet deadly tools like cans of spinach, finger guns, and experimental weapons, such as the freeze gun, turpentine gun, and the mind-bending conscious gun. Absolum is basically what happens if Golden Axe and a roguelike had a messy breakup, got back together after too many shots, and decided to raise a radical frog wizard as their child. The story drops you into Talam, a fantasy world where the big bad Sun King Azra banned magic, enslaved wizards, and probably has world's worst boss on his coffee mug. He's the kind of guy who sees a fireball and says, "Nope, only spreadsheets allowed." You play as a squad of magical misfits. Carl, the tanky dwarf, Galandra, the elf archer, Cider, the rogue, who definitely steals more than wallets, and Brome, the frog wizard, who casts spells with the swagger of Kermit if he'd studied dark magic instead of hanging out with Miss Piggy. Combat is crunchy and over the top, with pinball physics that make every punch look like it was directed by Michael Bay.
Bubsy is back!
Bubsy in The Purrfect Collection is basically Atari and limited run games, saying, "Remember that wisecracking bobcat you either loved, hated, or vaguely recall from a rental cartridge in 1993? Yeah, we're bringing him back whether you like it or not." This bundle scoops up 4 of his greatest hits, and yes, I'm using air quotes so hard my fingers hurt. Claws Encounters of the Furred Kind, Bubsy 2, Fractured Furry Tales, and the infamous Bubsy 3D. Yep, they even had the audacity to include that one, so you can relive the trauma in glorious high definition. The games are spruced up with modern creature comforts. Save states, so you don't throw your controller through a wall. Rewind, so you can undie after mistiming literally everything. And cheats, because honestly, Bubsy could use the help. It's like putting training wheels on a unicycle, but hey, it works. So, BioMenace Remastered is basically the 1993 classic BioMenace, the game that made you feel like Duke Nukem's slightly less charismatic cousin, glammed up for 2025. You play Snake Logan, a commando dude who punches, shoots, and grenade launches his way through hordes of mutants with serious attitude problems. Think of it as Rambo meets a radioactive zoo. The remaster isn't just a fancy coat of paint. It's got widescreen support, 60 FPS smooth scrolling, and parallax backgrounds, so when you jump over a mutant, it actually feels like physics is involved, and not just, hope I don't land on spikes. You also get save states, rewind, and infinite lives. Basically, if you rage quit more than once, the game now just laughs politely and says, "Try again, champ." The story? Classic, 90s chaos. Dr. Mangle's up to his usual evil shenanigans, mutants are everywhere, and you're basically the only sane person with a grenade launcher. Nightmare Buster's Rebirth is basically what happens when two leprechaun brothers, yes, actual tiny Irish dudes, decide to save the Kingdom of Dreams, armed with magical playing cards. Imagine Mario and Luigi went rogue, swapped plumbing for dream busting, and added a pinch of shamrock spice. That's your starting point. Gameplay? Think run and gun meets precision 2D platforming, with hand-drawn visuals so charming you might forget you're dodging fire-breathing nightmares. And the soundtrack? Reorchestrated so nicely, your ears might actually start humming along while your thumbs bleed from button mashing. You can play solo, sure, but the magic happens in local co-op. Nothing bonds friends or ruins friendships. Like trying to grab the same power-up while a nightmare goblin is literally chewing on your pixels.